got involved with this alongside the gym as I'm big into football as well. So now we run a league in Telford and a league in Shrewsbury as well. I'm looking to expand. So
all right, perfect.
very exciting.
You're a football fan?
Big football fan.
Who do you support?
Big Aston Villa fan. Oh,
End the podcast right now.
Who's your team?
I'm a Blues fan.
No one said this to me.
I mean, yeah, this is probably either going to absolutely kill the podcast, but hey, I was
probably move on from football.
yeah, no, it's fine. Hello and welcome to episode 5 of the Gym Owners Forum podcast. Today is no different. We're going to give you some great stories and anecdotes from the perspective of a gym owner and how they've overcome issues and also, set up a successful business. But it's also from the perspective of a franchise gym. And Neil, the guest today, is the owner of Foundry Gym Telford, which is part of a greater franchise. And he's an interesting person, and this podcast is for you if you are newly setting up a gym or considering growing or actually looking to, start your own franchise empire. And the reason Neil's good for this is because he started off as a franchise gym franchisee, and he's actually now continued to be part of the Foundry Gym greater team and is helping to make them expand into the south of England and get more franchises throughout the UK. So, yeah, man of many talents, actually, as you've been telling me. So if you can, give us a quick breakdown of who you are, introduce yourself and what you do.
Okay, so I'm Neil Timms. I'm co-owner of Foundry Gym Telford. We've been running Foundry Gym Telford for the last 4 years. Before that, I was a primary school teacher, but now very much involved with Foundry Gym. Recently moved into helping the franchise expand as well, so part of the franchise team as well. So all kinds of things going on.
Okay, perfect. And just to touch on it quickly as well, you mentioned you do like six-a-side football, like the organising and stuff. I think it's actually kind of good to show like how much stuff you kind of do. I know that's very like broad, but if you could touch a little bit on that, like what you do for them as well, and maybe kind of how it links into.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm owner of NT Leisure Leagues as well, which is part of the Leisure League franchise. We run six-side football leagues for adults. Got involved with this alongside the gym as I'm big into football as well. So now we run a league in Telford and a league in Shrewsbury as well. I'm looking to expand. So
all right, perfect.
Very exciting.
You're a football fan?
Big football fan.
Who do you support?
Big Aston Villa fan.
End the podcast right now.
Who's your team?
I'm a Blues fan.
No one said this to me.
I mean, yeah, this is probably either going to absolutely kill the podcast, but hey,
Let's probably move on from football.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Yeah, you guys aren't looking too good at the moment, but that's fine. Anyway, we'll move on.
I think we're doing okay, and Blues have won some games.
Yeah, no, well, actually, Midlands is on the rise, I think. So
yeah, it is. It's good. It's good that they've got a new ownership, Blues. So
let's share some positivity. Yeah. This is
good
like
to see them.
The
happy.
Bloods and the Crips.
I've got some family members of Blues fans as well, and it's nice to see them smile for the first time in 5 years or 10 years or
15 years, I think. Yeah, something like that.
It's nice.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so to start us off a little bit, I was just going to kind of chuck some quick fire questions at you.
Yeah, go on for it.
You can answer it in as much detail or as little detail as you like. But yeah, go on. So training in the morning or the evenings?
Morning for me.
Why's that?
I just feel more energized in the morning, and then I find it hard to drag myself to the gym on the evenings. But previously when I worked as a primary school teacher, it was always evenings. So you kind of have to do it. And I think if you get in that routine, it's fine. But now I've got the choice. I prefer in the mornings.
That's fair enough. Cardio or weights?
Weights.
Okay, no worries. So full body workout or split sessions?
I suppose for me, it depends on how much time I've got that week. If I've only got 2 or 3 sessions, I might do full body. Okay. But if I've got 4 or 5 sessions, a little bit more time, I'd split the routine.
Would you say that, I mean, to be honest, you probably know more than I do. Well, you definitely know more than I do. In terms of the like full body split workout, like what is it better to do like more sessions split workout, or like is full body workout better basically?
I don't know. I think it depends on you personally, the time that you have. If you can focus on specific areas of your body, then I think there's benefits to that.
Yeah.
But if you haven't got the time, then you'd be better off working everything rather than only focusing on your chest. People or your biceps, people are going around focusing on the more aesthetic looking parts, but then you're not working your hamstrings or you're not working your back, and then you get disproportionate. So
there's nothing worse.
Yeah, exactly. You do see a lot of it, don't you? So I think that the tendency is to kind of go for the parts that are a bit more masculine, and people want to show off the biceps, but you need all parts of the body.
That's fair. So moving on to kind of more gym owner focused questions, I guess. So rewarding your members for attendance. Do you reckon that's motivating and it's a good idea, or is it a bit cheesy and probably not the best?
I think it's good to showcase people who attend regular. It's good to do spotlights on people who are achieving certain goals. I think that's a really positive thing. Yeah, of course, you want people attending. I know from a business perspective, some gyms might think if they're not attending, then they're not using our equipment.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've got sleeping members, you're making money from them while they're not using your equipment. So I get that side of it, but I would rather have people who are interested in fitness.
I think that's it's quite an interesting thing that, you know, it's that constant like discourse or battle or whatever you want to call it. But the sleeping members really, like, obviously it's great as like a passive income and you need a certain amount of them, but as like a business model, I think it's only really viable on like a massive scale. And so your gyms like your pure gyms or your other kind of big chains, that works for them because it's like a really cheap membership. So actually people don't really know. So you get a massive volume of sleeper members. Whereas I think for gyms that actually where you're running it as like a bit of a passion project and you're interested in the gym yourself, like you should really focus on getting people in and involved. It helps with the retention and stuff like that as well, doesn't it?
Absolutely. I think if people aren't attending, they're likely eventually to quit their membership.
Yeah.
You know, there is room for sleeping members, but again, I think you notice that when you go into the gym as well, the vibe is slightly different. If you've got people attending, they get to know each other, you get the community within the gym, which is something that we're really positive about, that we want to get in Foundries as well. So I think that's a big part of it. We'd rather have people come into the gym and being part of it rather than just staying at home and coming occasionally.
Definitely. No, look, I think it's a bit of a testament to your guys' success as well, as that is the kind of the culture that you have, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm reading this question. It's a bit of a weird one, to be honest, but talking to strangers at the gym, yes or no?
I think it depends what you say to them.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
You know, if you're approaching people in a creepy way, I don't really like that, but I think it's, if you're saying hello to people and asking them how their day is, or you know, just making a fun comment or something, I think that's absolutely fine.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you want to be a bit more kind of proper, it's from the perspective of a gym owner, I guess, talking to strangers.
Yeah. I think that's really important, to be able to talk to the members and get to know them and show that you're not just focused on making money. You want to get to know the people inside the gym.
Yeah.
But also, there's sometimes people have got earphones in, they're really focused on their workout. I wouldn't go up to someone and try and disturb their workout, you know, talk to me, say something to me. But yeah, I think there's a right time for it, isn't there?
No, exactly, massively. Free trials to the gym, effective or not?
For me, effective. People can come and sample your product. They can see why your gym's so good. I think if you can get people in, a lot of the time with our gyms, when we get them in, they like to stay. They're so free trials. It depends on how long for. Yeah. I wouldn't be offering days, you know, weeks of free trials, but to come in for an open day, I think that's a really positive.
Definitely. Yeah, again, it's that kind of finding that middle ground, isn't it? Because that you don't want to give the same guy like 6 different free trials as well. So you need a way of like monitoring that and tracking it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, massively. I think open days are a great example of that. Like, it gets people in the gym and it's at its busiest as well, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, exactly.
Membership tiers, too complex or essential? So this is like gold, silver, bronze, class livets and stuff like that.
I'm not so sure I like the concept really myself. I don't like someone saying I'm a gold member and I'm a bronze member, like lording it over someone because they're a gold member. I guess it's got its place, but it's not something that I would do.
Yeah, you saying that actually can probably be quite like divisive, isn't it? Like, I'm more committed to the gym.
Yeah, exactly. Someone wearing a gold coat coming in or something. Arriving on an elephant.
You.
Yeah, that's me. I arrived to the gym on an elephant's head.
And then fitness trends. So things like like new like reformer Pilates and stuff like that. Staying on top of them, is it something that is good to do, or it's exhausting and they'll pass?
I think you have to. I think you have to stay on top of the trends. We have a big high rocks community now coming into the gyms.
Yeah.
So now you're having to consider when you're building new gyms, particularly, you're thinking, right, do we need to have a designated area for those kind of things? Do we need calisthenics in the gym? Whereas before we'd be thinking, well, strength training is our bread and butter. But now if you want to increase your membership and, attack new markets, I think you need to be looking at the trends.
Have you done a high rocks?
No, I haven't done a high rocks, but my the co-owner at Foundry Telford, Ed Canan, he's done a high rocks, and I watched him toil, which was quite fun.
Yeah, it's a nightmare, to be fair. Did he enjoy it?
Yeah, he did. He did it alongside one of the members at the gym, Zoe.
Okay.
And they put a lot of effort into it. They did incredibly well. It was great watching them do it and supporting them.
No, that's good.
It's not for me at the moment. I've got a 2-year-old and I don't get any sleep, so I've got no time to do these things.
That's fair enough. Yeah, they're weirdly like, when you're doing it, it's like the worst thing in the world. I mean, people probably disagree with me, but it's like the worst thing in the world. I hated it, and then I would finish it. I was like, God, that was.
So you done some horror yourself?
Really good. I've done one. I did the Malaga one.
Oh, bro, good place to do it.
Start last year. Yeah, I don't think doing one in Birmingham or Manchester, walking out and you're in Birmingham or Manchester, like, oh God.
Yeah.
But I'd walked out. I was in Malaga. I was like, yeah, okay, fair enough.
Did you do it on your own, or did you do it?
No, I did it in a pairs with one of my friends. So like a couple of us did it, and then a couple of us flew out to watch it, and then
Amazing.
It
is an amazing achievement. Such a tough event. Did you train hard for it?
Yeah. I mean, it gave me like a proper like sense of like purpose while I was training for it. So I was like, I knew I had this thing to train for. It's like kind of set all your workouts for you as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I actually did. I really enjoyed the training. I really enjoyed after it. I'm like happy I've done it. Would probably like to do another one. But yeah, just while doing it was hell.
It's amazing. Good on you. It is a big thing at the moment. A lot of people are going for high rocks.
I don't think it will go either. I think it's going to stay around. So
yeah,
it's definitely worth something that implementing into the gym for sure.
Absolutely.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, that brings us to the end of the quickfire question round, which probably wasn't that quickfire, but that's on me.
It's fine.
Oh yeah. Going into sort of the kind of the meat of the podcast now. I thought you'd be a really good guest today because a franchise is actually, in my opinion, and from what I've seen from working in the industry, it's something that's kind of becoming more and more common. Mm-hmm. It's kind of, on the surface quite obvious why you'd want to be a part of a franchise. Like it's already an established name and a lot of the work's probably taken out of it for you. But yeah, as I say, you can probably elaborate on that a little bit more for me. But for everyone out there, I guess, what is a franchise?
For me, you're taking a tried and tested product or a brand, something that already works, and then you're putting your spin on it. So in my sense, in my case, the Foundry Gym was already very, very a popular brand within my local area. So we knew there was a Foundry Gym in Warsaw, there was a Foundry Gym in Dudley and Wolverhampton. We knew what we were getting. So you know that you're setting up that business with some of those parameters already set in place for you. So for me, that was a big part of it, really.
Yeah. And how many Foundry Gyms are there at the moment?
I believe there's 17 now.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
but when we started, I think there was three or four.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I know that, well, from working with you guys, really, like 2024 was pretty crazy year.
Yeah.
And it was like constantly like, we're opening a new one,
It was always the next one, the next one. Yeah.
But I guess that's good. And it's quite good that they're all kind of successful. I was trying to look for another word, but I think
touch wood so far. Yeah, everyone is successful, and then of course you'll come across at some point ones with challenges, but we have the network now to be able to cope with that. But yeah, so far so good, Evan.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, so I assume that it's probably different across different franchises, but what was included when you guys, what's included in the kind of package that you sign up for?
Well, so you've got the brand guidelines. So within the gyms, you've got the graffiti, the way it looks, the aesthetic look of that gym. So you've got that template, first of all. Then you've got a support network and the know-how behind opening the gym and running the gyms. So that was the main part that was included within the franchise.
Yeah, okay.
So that's what you're paying for in essence, because you are giving away part of your revenue for that.
But then I'd say also like probably one of the hardest things about running a gym is that initial like setup of it. So you're
Yeah.
kind of avoiding that in a way as
But
well.
for me, it was taking away part of the risk
Yeah.
because when we set up, we were putting our life savings in. Myself and my good friend Ed. When we did it, we knew we were taking on a big risk. If it was to fail, it would really have a big impact on our lives. So we wanted something that was tried and tested, take some of that pressure off. You're starting already with that kind of that brand behind you, and you've got a much better chance of success. In our eyes, that's what we thought anyway.
Yeah, and I mean, that's like at the end of the day, the franchise also has skin in the game, and like
Yeah.
if it fails, it probably looks really bad as well. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
touch wood,
They're going to work
that's-
hard to support you, aren't they? Put the
Yeah,
things
yeah.
in place that will give you the best chance of success.
yeah, speaking of success, I think it's quite clear that you guys have a formula when setting up the gym because from my perspective of working with you guys, it always seems so seamless, and I'm sure it's probably on the inside like but,
Yeah, definitely,
but
definitely.
from the outside it seems so seamless, and there's always this like almost formula that it seems like you guys follow. So what are the kind of rules, kind of key things that you need to look out for in a gym when starting up to be successful, I guess, without spilling any company secrets or anything like that, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose there's no real magic formula in terms of they've got a formula in the way the gym looks and the way they open the gym, the way it's marketed when it's opening. I think the way you can be successful is by creating a community and a specific vibe within the gyms, and that's something that I think we do really well. So we've got that kind of inclusive vibe. People feel comfortable training there. It's not like a commercial kind of feel where you're working out in an office kind of environment,
Yeah,
but it's also not that blood and thunder, bodybuilder gym where it might be intimidating. I think we've got a nice kind of part of the market where we're not neither of those things. We kind of sit in the middle.
I'd say so. I think it is more for your average gym goer, which it's not. I don't mean average as in like boring, but like your normal person, I guess. Like someone that isn't necessarily. You obviously get both ends of the spectrum in terms of your first timers and also
Absolutely,
but pros. But it's kind of inclusive of everyone, and you can definitely see that. And I think how does the design and the atmosphere that you create in the gym play into that community as well?
I don't know. I think the design in terms of the hammer strength equipment that we have and that kind of metal steel vibe, it gives off kind of an impression of strength, and I think that straight away helps us attract people. I think that's one way. I think the way we space out the equipment, the way that we have even things like the graffiti and the music, it gives you that kind of cool environment. I think it creates a theme of kind of relaxation. A difficult question to answer that one. I think people feel comfortable training in that environment.
But no, I think you've answered it absolutely fine. Because to be honest, it's like it is the, if I hated working out in a gym because I felt like weird, you wouldn't stay there. But I think that's the answer to the question. Really, is the design is important in that. Like,
I think the kind of the people we have within our gyms as well, like they come to train. The majority of people are active members. They come regularly. They're focused on their training. They're not there focused to pick fault at someone else or to be staring. If you're a young woman, you go somewhere, you're getting stared at within the gym. You're not getting that in ours because they're focused on their training.
Yeah.
So I think that the environment we've created helps attract that kind of gym goer rather than someone who's just going to come and stand there and just ogle, not really get on with their training.
No, fair enough. Yeah, that's probably worse than sleeping members, isn't it? Yeah, someone who comes in and is odd. Okay, fair enough. I think that it's we do talk about on the Gym Owners Forum channel, I guess, about the kind of buzzword of community and how important that is. And I think it can kind of lose its meaning sometimes when you're saying it so much, but it really is just like creating that atmosphere that people. It isn't even necessarily community like, I'm going to come and help you in the gym, but it's more like everyone in this gym is a nice person and I feel that way. So I actually feel nice working here. Even though I never talk to anyone, it's like, that's how important it is.
Yeah. You want to facilitate that, don't you? You want to try and encourage people to be supportive, celebrate achievements, do competitions. We do newsletters and things where we're celebrating our members. If you can encourage that, the majority of people will follow. you're always going to get some people within the gym who might not be, you might just not get a nice person, you know, so you're going to have some people like that. But I think if you can create that kind of atmosphere, the majority of people will follow.
I totally agree. Yeah, look, there's bad eggs everywhere. But
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that's something you can't avoid, isn't it? Really. So, moving on, I guess from community, which we absolutely hammer people with. The location of the gym is something I found interesting because obviously you have 17 locations across like the Midlands, but also actually like going further north and south. Now you got like Wrexham.
Yeah, so Wrexham in the north. Well, it's not really the north kind of west, isn't it? And then we've just recently opened Tunbridge as well in Kent, so really even into the southeast. So it's getting further and further afield now.
Yeah, starting to lose track of them.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, yeah, but that's, again, it's a testament to you guys, really. But in terms of the locations, from your perspective, really, how did you decide to choose the Telford location? What was the kind of thinking that went into it?
Well, so we're based in the West Midlands near Walsall, myself and my business partner. We were looking.
You can call him Ed. You can name
him.
Yeah, shout out to him.
Let's be professional. Business partner, he'll enjoy that.
Yeah, okay, fair
enough. So myself and Ed, we were looking for a location, obviously, ideally in close proximity to us because we wanted to be quite hands-on.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing for us was finding somewhere where there was a good population and we could be successful. So that was the main thing, finding a big enough area to attract the kind of membership base that we wanted. And there was already Foundry gyms in Walsall. There was one in Wolverhampton, one in Dudley. So we had to look a little bit further afield.
Yeah, kind
of. And Telford, Telford is a growing area. We already knew that. We thought that'd be a perfect kind of spot to put one.
No, definitely. I mean, because I'm going to test your geography here, I guess. But obviously Birmingham as a city is pretty like wide sprawl, and it's like it goes out for miles. But then actually you've got Wolverhampton like tacked on, you've got Coventry tacked on, and then Telford's above Wolverhampton, I guess.
Yeah, right? You're on that route towards Wales, aren't you?
Yeah. And obviously there's actually like a massive population here. Everyone thinks of Manchester as like this big city, but actually Birmingham is bigger.
Yeah.
So screw you, Manchester.
Yeah, exactly. No, but you wouldn't think it, would you?
No. But I think in terms of what's going on, I think Manchester's probably a bit better. But anyway, we won't get into that. But yeah, like there's actually so many different locations in big cities and big towns even. So was the aim for you to kind of just like get one of those completely locked down?
For us, I mean, when we were doing our research, we wanted a big population base. So Telford, we knew had 150,000 people.
Yeah.
So then you've only got to get a small percentage of the population to be successful. If you're aiming for 1,000 members, say, for example, you know, you've only got to get a small percentage then. Whereas if you go into a smaller place that's got 30,000 people or 20,000 people, you've got to get a lot of the people who live there to be part of your gym. Then you're looking at the competitors as well. Are there other gyms around? So that there's quite a lot that goes into looking at the demographics before you select your location.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, actually, because with a couple of the gyms, well, for example, Sarah Jane Fitness, she's done really well because she's like found her niche, and she's like, she's gone for the women's only gym. She's gone for the like class focus boot camp, like holiday retreat kind of angle. And, it works really well for her. And she's also in like a very densely populated, high competition area. So she's actually like cornered off her own section of the market. Would you say that the Foundry Gym is actually kind of the flip side of that? And because you're such like a broad kind of facility with a like really good offering, like a pretty good price, like do you really have to find the niche, or do you guys kind of try and keep it as quite a wide open thing?
I think we want to try and cater to as many people as possible.
Yeah,
really. We've got hammer strength kit, we're a strength gym. That's our bread and butter. That's our main focus. But we're also a boxing gym. We're also martial arts. We're also calisthenics. We're also, high rocks if you want to do that. And we want to offer as many different ways that people can come and train as possible. Whereas there's no one way to skin a cat. Is there, some people will just have the niche and focus on that. And that's absolutely fine. You can still get your membership base from that. But ours is more broad.
So yeah, I know you've touched on it briefly, like as we've spoken anyway, but and you probably know what question's going to come next after this. But what would you say is the advantage and the advantages of being a franchise gym and working with a franchise owner?
I think at the very start, you know what product you're creating, you know what you're trying to create, you've seen it done. They've got a tried and tested method, so you're mitigating some of the risk involved in opening a new business, particularly a gym where it's so competitive. It can do really well or it could fail. We see lots of independent gyms not do so well straight away.
Yeah.
Of course, there are people who get it right and that you can be very successful, but we wanted to mitigate the risk. We knew that Foundry Gym was successful, so we wanted to go for that. Plus, we loved the vibe within the gyms. We loved how it looked. We thought it'd be so cool to own one of those types of gyms anyway. So that was another part, the support network you get behind it. That's a massive thing. So all those things combined made the franchise option a bit more for us, really.
Which, makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, I guess on the surface level, when you look at like why you want to be a part of a franchise, it is those reasons. Like it is just, mitigating that risk, as you say, I think is so important because it's literally kind of all, trying to think of the phrase, but it's all literally like running through daisy fields. That's not the phrase I was looking for.
Well, you're starting a new business, aren't you? Any new business at the start, it is very daunting. It is risky, particularly, if you're putting your life savings into it.
Yeah.
We were putting everything we had into it. We've got families, we've got houses. You have to make sure that the risk is, correct, and you're not overstretching yourself.
When you say everything, putting everything into it, you weren't putting your family's houses into it, were you?
No, we weren't. We weren't offering up our family or anything. Okay, but if it goes
weird cult,
if it goes wrong, you could be in trouble.
It's
going to risk everything you're trying to build. So, and my wife, she told me this. Oh my gosh, that we're putting all our money into one thing. It's got to be right. We'd seen the gym. We knew it was successful. We knew the people involved. You could trust them. That's a massive.
Yeah, I mean, you say it's a big risk, but actually, in reality, it's probably like not really, is it? It kind of makes sense. So.
Well, why wouldn't it work for us if it was working for the other gyms and we could replicate that? Why wouldn't it work? So that's what we were thinking.
Yeah,
if we can do what they're doing, we'll.
So successful. The flip side of that, what's the disadvantage?
I suppose someone who wanted to set up a gym and they wanted it in their own image.
Yeah.
The disadvantage is that you are sticking to the brand and you are within the constraints of the brand to an extent. I mean, we loved that anyway. We loved what the brand represented, so that was fine. But someone who wanted to put their own stamp on something completely, do it all in their own way, then you wouldn't do it as a franchise. You'd have to do it independently.
Yeah.
So that would be the disadvantage for me. There'll be a financial disadvantage depending on what your franchise is. They might be taking the part of your revenue, or you might have a set fee every month. So you're giving away part of that.
So in terms of I know you touched on the brand and, like having that well-established brand is so good, but then actually how does that brand, how is that brand awareness created? Who does the marketing of the gym? Is that something that's left directly to you as the franchisee, or is that something the franchise owners do?
It's a team effort.
Okay.
It's a team effort that they've got their own marketing strategies that they use, that they've tested before. They know work. So you're going to use those to try and build your membership base and your following in the start. But then, of course, you've got your own stamp that you want to put on these things. So the social media, then you can get involved. I think it's a collaborative effort really to make sure that you're marketing it in the way that they want, but also it's your business and you have to put some effort into that as well.
Looking at the kind of how you selected the location a little bit more, if you could maybe dive into a little bit about what specifically you looked at and whether you were like pulling reports or I don't know, whatever, like what metrics did you use to actually decide that was going to be a good place? Because obviously population is the obvious one, but then
that was kind of our starting point really. We wanted a large area to target, members. Then you started looking into the demographics of the area, what kind of age groups. We didn't want an aging population somewhere where people perhaps aren't training at that point and maybe going for tea or different else.
Yeah. Not sitting in a home.
Not that everyone goes for tea. I'm just saying, I mean, we have some over 60s within the gym. Don't want to put them off.
That was like your impression of old people. It's just like,
I just imagine really British, last of the summer wine.
Yeah, okay, fair
people don't know why. So you want to look at an area where the population has got that kind of core group, that 20 to 45, 20 to 50 kind of group where you're going to get the majority of your members from. So we looked at the demographics. We knew that the area of Telford was growing as well, even so much as, looking at developing towns within the West Midlands. We typed that in Google, simple questions in Google, and then you start to get a picture where would be a good place to put a Foundry Gym. Then you even go into the competitors. Have we got a lot of competitors? Is there a really good strength gym around the corner there? Do I really want to be competing with a really good strength gym?
Yeah.
I don't know, but maybe you do. So we were asking ourselves all these questions before we selected a location. I think that was a really positive thing to do, really.
No, definitely. Yeah, I think, because you can either go really in depth or you can kind of just go on vibe. And I'm sure going in depth is probably
certain areas. If you plonked a gym there, it'd probably work anyway, wouldn't it? So, but we wanted to be a bit more selective. We knew the Midlands was quite saturated already with some really good gyms, so we were looking slightly further afield than round by where we lived in Walsall. So, Telford was the one that ticked most of the boxes.
Okay. And I mean, completely diverting, but I know that you guys have partnered with a clothing company, KL, I think it is, to, release some like Foundry merch and stuff.
Yes.
What's the importance of that, I guess? Because, feel free to say it's not important at all, but like, what's the thinking behind it? How effective is it? And why did you do it? Really?
With the merchandise, again, it's creating that community feel. People wearing that Foundry top. I train at Foundry Gym, and they're proud to train with those. You'll see them in the street with their hoodie on. That's a really nice thing to see. Yeah. So again, from a business point of view, you're marketing your product, aren't you? You're marketing your gym because people see that they're there wearing that top. Oh, Foundry Gym, I haven't heard of that. Let's look that up. So again, you've got that facet of it as well, and then of course you can make some revenue from the actual sales of the merchandise. So you've got three kind of prongs there, really. Yeah. For me, the biggest part of it was the community and the exposure it gives you.
Yeah. Okay. It's kind of a no-brainer, really, isn't it? It's just like,
and it gives me something to wear as well.
Exactly.
Like, I haven't bought any clothes for ages because I keep just wearing the Foundry gear. So.
Shameless plug for the Foundry.
Of course, yeah. Got to wear it, haven't you?
Yeah, and I would say I look really good, actually.
It's all right.
Sorry, yeah, you look fantastic, mate. Again, you were one of the kind of first franchisees at Foundry Gym. What you kind of mentioned to me prior to this was that you and Ed are now becoming a little bit more involved in the actual kind of franchising of the gyms. So it'd be good to, from the perspective, I think it's quite nice, and it's like kind of full circle that you guys started as a franchisee, and now you're helping to grow the business even more. If you could tell us a little bit about like what you're doing, and why that's come about, and then like what the impact will be, I guess, basically.
Yeah, so the franchise is fortunately growing all the time and expanding, and they're looking at going into the north and the south of the country as well. So they wanted to expand that franchise team, and fortunately they approached myself and Ed to be part of that, which was a great opportunity for us to get involved. We were really passionate about the brand. We opened the gym and it's been successful. So I think they thought if we could pass that knowledge on to new franchisees and give that kind of perspective of a franchisee on top of it, then that would be really useful for the brand. And of course, that they need help opening these gyms. There's a lot of gyms to open. So we've kind of got an area now, the south of England, where we're focusing on trying to help people open gyms there. So really excited about doing that and helping people to grow successful gyms. Can't wait. It's going to be really good.
Yeah, no. Look, it's clear that you guys, from speaking with Joe and knowing Joe, like he's obviously very passionate about it. Kelvin, I met, he's very passionate. Like they love what they do. And then, on the flip side, talking to you guys, you and Ed and other gym owners, like they absolutely, like, you just all love it, basically. Yeah, it's like you've really bought into the culture of it. And it's like we say how important community and culture is within gyms, but within any business and with anything, like that's what kind of helps people work together and be effective. So
Absolutely.
It's kind of really obvious that this has been successful because you all are massively bought into it and it works. So, that's very kind to see. But Neil, I think we'll round it off there. Thank you so much for coming on and talking about everything you do, really, because
it's been a pleasure, honestly.
It's interesting and it's great to see. Before we go, is there any sort of key bits of advice, key things that people should know that you want to get to the masses?
I don't think I can give any major advice like some kind of wizard
Guru,
some kind of gym guru. Definitely not. But I would say if anyone wanted to go into opening a gym, and they've got that vision, then go for it. It's a fantastic thing to be part of. If you're positive that it can be successful, then there's no stopping you.
Then go for it. Absolutely. And if you're not, then join Foundry Gym. Open a Foundry Gym. Why not?
Yeah, absolutely. Could you join Foundry? Yeah.
You've got gyms.
Why not? Yeah, Foundry's the way forward.
So Neil, thank you very much for your time. Really enjoyed having you on. I think there's been some great stuff and great anecdotes that you told. So thank you.
Thank you, buddy. Nice one.
Thank you for listening to episode 5 of the Gym Owners Forum podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. I certainly did. And a couple things. So if you guys are wanting any kind of information or have any questions about franchising, please feel free to drop us a message. I'll also link Foundry Gym's website below that has all their contact details on it as well. If you're thinking of, joining a franchise, they're definitely a great candidate for that. Also, don't forget to check out our other podcasts on YouTube and Spotify, and find our Instagram that has loads of quick fire, actionable tips that you guys can, implement into your gym right away. Thank you for listening, and see you next time.